everyone. All right. Come on in, make yourselves comfortable. Today we are going to do a healing circle, and we're going to have a special prayer for moms and their children. And then, of course, we're going to take your requests for healings, setting intentions, whatever you want to call in. So there's nothing off limits. Go ahead and share your request in the chat. Some people have already emailed me their requests, so we're going to go ahead and address theirs. But before I get into the actual healing circle itself and the prayers, I want to talk a little bit about the magic of prayer, the power of prayer, and why it's so important, and how it is one of the most accepted tools in our society, because it is recognized in many cultures around the world, many religions. And so it is the widely most accepted practice that we have for this work. And so let me talk a little bit about why this is just so amazingly powerful. Well, first of all, when we pray, we're uttering words into creation. And that's how everything comes into being. It first starts in the imagination or a feeling, and then we emote or emit these thoughts, ideas, words into the ethers, into the universe. And so we're doing this 24/7, actually. We're doing it all the time. So I like to say that we are actually prayers in motion. We are always requesting different ideas. Now, when we intentionally tune in and we quiet our minds, well, then we're in a much more powerful place, because now we have a focal point, we are quiet in our minds, and we have more of an agenda. So you can imagine most people are walking prayers in motion for a lot of negative stuff, because they're just not clear in their intention setting, or clear or even aware of the stuff that they're thinking about and putting out there, and the actions that they're taking, knowing that all of it matters. All of it is being responded to or by God or the universe or our angels, whatever your belief system is around that I call infinite intelligence that permeates the universe, right? I know one thing for sure. We live in a responsive universe. Every thought, everything that we put out there is being responded to. And so in my practice, I teach mindfulness. I think that that is probably the most important place to come from, so that we can pray correctly. We can intend correctly. We can intend for things that really suit us, that help us instead of hurt us, right? So when we're unchecked and we're not intentional, and we're just flying by the seat of our pants and reacting to every little thing out there that is happening, we are actually attracting more of that to ourselves and creating more of it. So in essence, we can be either a part of the problem or a part of the solution. I know that I'm guilty of doing both. I take full accountability, but for the most part, my intention, when I am aware and sane in my own mind and all of that, then I want to create for peace. I want to create for calm. I want to create for higher, better, more, the good stuff. Our natural way of being, actually, and that to me is always reflected in nature. We can look to nature and we can see that the universe has this divine intelligence. It knows what it's doing. It is brilliant. It is only in the stream of well-being. It's all good. That's on my coffee mug. It is true. It's all good. The universe is. Now the people, we all have choice. We all have free will. We bring different things to the stage. so to speak. And some are higher aligned and some are not. And so we have to do our best to keep our own thoughts on what it is that we want to happen in the world. Gandhi said that best. He said, be the change you want to see in the world. And so that's not just a cliche. There's a lot of power and truth in that. And so one of the things that we do as a group, as in the Enchanted Empath group, is our community. We come together and we do these healing and prayer intention requests. And I decided, instead of going monthly, that I'm going to go ahead and do this weekly. I think we're living in crunchy times. And I think it's really important for us to manage our energy and to be as mindful as we possibly can be, so that we're feeding the parts of our world that we want to see evolve, and we're not paying or growing the stuff that we don't want to evolve, right? And right now it's really easy to do the latter and to just be a perpetual part of the problems by repeating things and really putting our energy and our focus into that stuff. So I'm speaking from my own experience. I've had to turn off the news. I've had to just cut it out and to be very mindful about what I put in my own psyche, and, controlling my environment so that I can better control my own energy, because that's everything. Your energy is the core. It's whatever is going on within you is what is going to appear on the outside. So don't let the outside external energies dictate who you are, or instill you with fear, or instill you with a bunch of stuff that just doesn't serve your higher calling. It's just not worth it. There's an agenda happening. That's very clear. And I am just too rebellious to give my power away. So I have reclaimed it. We're going to be doing these healing circles every Sunday so that we can stay on top of our energy and that we can be a beneficial presence to this planet, right? And talk about things like this, and then take your requests and really amplify them and put them out into that responsive universe that I know is always working. So here's another thought. So prayer, when we are practicing this with awareness, it really does come in, it goes by different names. So don't get all upset about this, but prayer is setting intentions, mindfully asking, requesting, setting intentions, asking for healing, all of those things, right? So most people pray to their God. I pray to divine intelligence. Some people say affirmations. Some people do spell casting. Some people just set intentions. Some people, what else do we call it? Whatever we call it, it's all the same thing. It is mindfully, intentionally creating with the universe, with the benevolence that surrounds us, that is always responding. So you can call it whatever you want, right? It's all good. All roads lead to the same place, and it's all benevolence. So be mindful, like moving forward this week, just be mindful about the things that you're saying to yourself. Be kind with the words that you use to especially describe yourself in your current situation, and the judgments that we have about the external stuff. Maybe, look for the good. We can always look for the good, and we can train our RAS, our reticular activating system inside of our brain, to look for the good stuff. It's like we're already flooded by a lot of negativity. And so we can intentionally look for the good things. We can look for the innocence of kids. We can look for the beauty of nature. We can look for the kindness of people they're always doing it when, and we're just not paying attention. So pay attention to those things. Pay attention to the old couple holding hands while they're taking a walk. tap into the sweetness of who we really are. I think we've forgotten a lot of that, and it's just really in our best interest to come back to center and to really focus on the good, because there's so much more of that than all that noisy other stuff that is temporary and fleeting. It's not for real. It's not forever. This benevolence, this God stuff is forever. That is the eternal stuff. And that is who we are. And that's where we come from. Okay. Getting off my soapbox. All right. Let's get into let's start with a general prayer, and then we can move into the more specific ones. So again, if you have a request, it could be a healing request, it could be a, resource request, money, health, love, whatever it is, quiet, peace of mind, whatever it is that you are wanting, go ahead and just chat that in there, and then we'll bring it in collectively when we do the specifics. So for now, I wanted to start with a general prayer request that is something that's been on my mind and in my heart. And it's also one of my people on my list, my community, who has also requested this. But it is a prayer specifically for the moms out there, for the mothers. Maybe let's just no, I'm going to keep it moms, because it's very specific to moms. You can call me politically incorrect. I don't care. But there is something about motherhood that is very unique, that really messes us up when it comes to our own boundaries and our own power and taking care of ourselves. We are just wired to take care of our children first and everything else first and all of that. And a lot of times in motherhood and, and relationships, women can have a tendency to lose themselves. It is very clear and very documented that there are, phases in our lives and how women are mostly wired. It's not one size fits all. So forgive me. I do claim to be woke, but I also claim to, call it the way I see it. And I do see the phases that women go through and how we are just kind of wired to be the caregivers, and we forget ourselves. So this prayer is for the moms with the busy households, the moms who have adult children who are struggling, the moms who have empty nests and maybe don't know their purpose or feel like they're lost because that was always their purpose. And I want to just remind you, moms out there, that there's a saying in the 12-step program that God has no grandchildren. And I remember when somebody told me that, it brought me so much peace, because I was doing all the worrying for my children. I was doing all the heavy lifting for my children. And when I heard that, and it was my sponsor who told me that directly, I just realized that I have help. It's not all our responsibility, that they have the same resources, the same God, the same universe, the same divine intelligence, the same angel system, the same spirit guides that I do. And they also have their own path. And so that gave me so much space and freedom to let go of the wheel more and to allow God to work the miracles in their lives, just like the universe works their miracles in my life. That it's not all just, dependent on us, even though we feel that way much of the time. There's a special something about a mother's love for her children that is undeniable. Okay, so let's go ahead and just take a deep breath, get into a comfortable place. And when we do these collective prayers and setting these intentions, we are really moving some energies. This is the stuff that I live for. I I love how we are wired. So we can use the power of our words to bless or to curse. And so right now we're going to use these words and these intentions and this collective energy to really raise the energy. Breathing in of the moms out there, including myself. I'm struggling with my adult children who are struggling. So I pray for their healing. I pray for their sanity. I pray for them to come to center, to remember who they are. Praying for all the moms out there to know their worth, to know their value, to know that their amazing hearts are such a big part of who they are. And remembering that it's so easy to share that love and that compassion and that maternal instinct with our children and our families. And to remember ourselves in that equation, to put ourselves first and asking for Spirit to give us grace and space when we need it, to give us the rest that is required, to give us the resources that are available to help us manage our households better, more efficiently, to give us the resources of money, of help, of whatever it is that we need that can lighten the load. So thank you, Spirit, for providing us the grace and the space and the sanity to continue our purpose here as mothers, remembering our own selves, pampering ourselves, asking you to surprise us and delight us with a gift, with something unexpected that will just nourish our own spirits. So thank you for that. And now moving on to the children, the little ones, the big ones, all of them, knowing that they are protected, they are guided, directed, loved, cradled by the spirit helpers, by the angels, by our ancestors. So we have so much help that is available to us to protect and guide our children and to lead them to their highest place. Helping them remember why they came here in the first place. They didn't come here to struggle. They came here to thrive. They came here to be a change or make a difference. They came here to express their amazing selves. And so we give thanks for the space for them to grow and evolve, knowing that they are guided, directed, and protected. All right. So thank you, Spirit. Remembering that God has no grandchildren. Remember that one. That helps. Okay, next let's move into some specific prayer requests, and then we'll go ahead and end for the day. We don't need to stay here too long for this because the universe or God or spirits and angels, all of our helpers are picking up what we're putting down and what we're putting out into the universe. All right, so let's go ahead and open up my prayer request for Jennifer. She's one of the moms. She says, I feel taken for granted and I am along through my life, but it's not what I want. I feel I have to choose my family or myself. Don't know how much longer I can do this. Okay, Jennifer, let's hold Jennifer in a specific space. We don't have to know what she looks like or her birthday or anything like that. We can tap into her essence and we can just hold space for Jennifer. And we can say, universe, God, Mother Earth, divine intelligence, give Jennifer the strength and the grace to manage her family and to have the boundaries and the priorities lined up that make sense to her, that feel right to her, so that her day feels long and doable, or, not so crammed, just easier. So we call in some grace. We call in the helpers for the children. We call in the resources for Jennifer. We call in the surprise and delights for Jennifer so that she can take a time out, so that we can ask for her energy to be replenished, restored, and so that she doesn't have to make such hard choices between herself and her family, that there is help and there is the time and the resources for her to take care of herself as well. Maybe giving the kids more guidance so that they can be more self-contained, whatever is required, whatever is needed. You know more than I do, Spirit. So bring in and bless Jennifer's home with all the resources, the intelligence, the structure, whatever is needed to make her life more graceful and easy and restful and peaceful. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for that. Jennifer, I hope you received that. I would love to hear how things change and what kind of new surprises come for you. And then I also have a prayer request from Ed, and he says, I could use some healing energy for physical and mental well-being. He has tinnitus, and it's really bad right now. So I'm also trying to attract the right situation in order to make changes in my living situation. Okay. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and say a prayer for Ed, and knowing that whatever that tinnitus is, the message that is there, that he receives that and knows that, so that he can be healed from that. So thank you, Divine Intelligent Universe, for healing Ed's tinnitus, for letting that stop and letting him know whatever that message is behind the tinnitus so that he can act on that instead. I get that a lot of our ailments are symbols and, symbols or communication to pay attention to something. So let that just be very clear for him as to what that is, and to take the irritation, the pain, or whatever that is associated with it away. Let him have peace. Let him experience peace and clarity to those next steps so that he can manifest the next things in his life, so that he can walk strongly and proudly into the next, and boldly into the next phase of his life, filling him with courage, filling him with boldness, filling him with clarity, filling him with can-do energy, knowing that all things are possible with you in this responsive, benevolent universe. Okay, so thank you. I hear that, I feel that. Okay, Ed, I hope that you received that. I would say in the in-between times for all of us, in the in-between times when we feel a bit of peace and quiet, go into that amazing imagination of yours and see the end result. See the things being healed. See the house being clean. See the move, the bold move somewhere else. See whatever it is that your heart is desiring. Those desires are not just fleeting, I should maybe do this. That's interesting. No, it's your soul calling. It's your soul knocking on your door saying, hey, you asked for this and we're here to help you do this. And we're not going to leave you alone until you do. So you might as well pay attention, right? So go into the imagination and see the end results. See the happy house. See the kids who are taking care of themselves more. see some independence happening, see some autonomy, see health, see healing, see sanity, see pleasure, joy, see people's sacral chakra lighting up and, getting back into a place of wanting and desiring the goodness of life, the joy of life, tapping into that. This is a crunchy time, and it's hard to see that. And so we have to mindfully put ourselves there, but it's very, very doable. And the more you do it, the easier it is. It just gets easier and easier to tune out the nonsense and to tune into what's important. And you are what's important. Your peace is what's important. We can't be of benefit to others or anybody else until we are good within our own selves, managing our own energy. It is a bit of work to do at first, but once you have some tools, once you have some practice, it just does get a lot easier. And in my practice, this is what I do all day long. I do the soul coaching and I teach people these tools so that you have at your fingertips all these tools and resources that you can use, these practices that you can use to realign your own energy, because that's more important. You can't control anything out there. You can only control this, right? And so this is where it starts. This is where it starts, in the imagination, in our prayers, in our intention setting. So I'm going to leave you with this. Look all this week. This is your homework, okay? I want you to really look for the good this week. Look for the good. Set your brain, set your RAS to only find the good stuff. Tune out the other stuff. Notice the people smiling. Notice the kindness. Notice the benevolent traffic. Notice people letting other people in, not cutting people off. Look for the flow. Look how people stay on their side of the road, and the only thing separating them is paint on the ground. Look at nature doing its beauty. I have a garden now, and I see my tomatoes just bursting, ready, almost. There's some that are ripe and a lot more to come. And the strawberries that are just growing like gangbusters. Nature knows what it's doing. It only knows how to thrive. And so let's look for the good stuff and remember where we come from, whose we are, and what is available to us. We are surrounded with resources. We are surrounded with spirit guides, ancestors, our higher self, a responsive universe, our master teachers, the people who were here before, like the Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness. We can call on anything and remember and tap in. All of this is here for you. Remember, okay? So with that, I hope that I see you all next Sunday, and we'll kind of do the same format. We'll talk about something interesting and useful, and then we'll go into the prayer requests. And I'm sure as we go along and do this more consistently, we'll have a lot more prayer requests and healing requests that we can collectively shine a light on. Okay, everybody. So I'll see you back here next Sunday. Enjoy this week. Look for the good and take good care of yourself. Take good care of yourself and each other. All right. Peace.